What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? And welcome back to In My City. Y'all already know what it is. I'm your host, Tabitha Simmons, and this is brought to you by No Chill Radio 95.9 FM. Today, y'all know this is where we interview extraordinary people doing extraordinary things in an extraordinarily big way. Today, we have a very, very special guest on my show. As we always, all of my guests are special, but today is a little different for me. I've been preparing for this interview for the past couple of weeks. And I know you guys have been anticipating hearing her voice and helping her with what she has going on. And today is the day. We have the extraordinary mother, the mother who is still fighting for justice for her son. If you guys, I'm gonna give you a brief, a real quick interview, and not an interview, but a synopsis of what happened with her son. In case you don't know, her son was found 2013, January 11, 2013, in a school gym, rolled up into a gym mat. And she's been fighting for justice ever since then. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Jacqueline Johnson. Hey, ma'am.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm here.
I understand. Listen, I wanted to do things a little differently today. This is not going to be like the normal interview. I don't have 50 questions, but rather what I want you to do is I want to talk about your son for today. But first, I want to ask, how are you doing right now in this time, right now, with everything that you're having to deal with before we get started with your son? Tell me about how you are doing right now, ma'am.
Well, it's like a daily, every second. I mean, you just learn to try to. It's emotional right now. I mean, you can't even really explain it. So many different emotions going on. You just don't know whether you're going or coming. It's hard.
I can understand that. I can't understand, but I understand what it is from what you're saying, that particular point of view. Take me back to, real briefly, January the 11th, 2013.
On January the 11th, my son was found dead in a wrestling mat at his high school. He went missing on January the 10th, and he never came home from school. And they kept us at the school all day long. They gave us so many different stories. Um, First, they say he had no bruising and no no bullet wounds, no nothing. But I know as everybody seen those pictures, we all
Yes.
that was a lie. Like he was bruised, he broken nose, like face broken, and I mean teeth not knocked out, but just bent. Like he had been in an altercation, and
Yeah.
it's just a lot, and it's like every year a different picture come out. You never know what you're gonna get. Like, I try to remember the good things, but from seeing those pictures, I don't even ask what all happened in that gym. I ask, my God, what didn't happen in that gym.
He went to school. He went missing on the day before, and you said he did not come home. So how did you know? They didn't call you until the second day, or it was because you were inquiring because he never came home?
I was inquiring like on the 10th when he didn't come home from school. I called my husband and his siblings because Kendrick was the baby boy. So he would always, it's always our policy. You have to let somebody know where you're at all times. And he was the baby boy, so we made sure we kept in contact with him. So that particular day, he hadn't talked to nobody. I mean, during school, he usually would, at least chit chat with his sister and stuff,
Yeah.
but he hadn't called nobody. So, we went to calling around to the school, to some of the teachers, not the teachers, but some of the my bus drivers, because I drove buses for that school, that
Yeah.
county,
Hmm.
and nobody had heard from Kendrick. So we worried right then. So my husband just like, just give it a little while, maybe he'll call. So the day went on, still nothing. So about around 8 o'clock, nobody still heard nothing from him. So by then we were really worried. So we went on, and then finally we called the police, and the police was like, he's probably just with some fast tail girl. And I looked him in his face and told him, no, he know better. He knows I don't play this, period. He know I don't play this. So he said, well, I'll just suck around in the block and stuff. Maybe he's just really just shrugging it off. So by then it's about 11 something. I got in my car and I'm circling all through the block, all out to the schoolhouse, on the school campus and stuff, and still no Kendrick. So the next day, I looked for him all night long. So the next day, by the time school opened, I'm at the school at 8 o'clock. So as I'm at the school at 8 o'clock, I met with one of the resource officers, and the first thing he gonna say, "Yeah, we heard Kendrick's missing, and he didn't come to school. He didn't show up at school. Like it was just nothing. Like he didn't show up at school. So you can go ahead and go on home, and we'll give you a call if we hear anything from him. Give me a call." And my child went missing from the school. Like it was just so much, and then to I left and went to the guidance counselor office. I wasn't leaving that campus. I went to the guidance counselor office to talk to her. And I asked her, did she know that my son was missing? She was like, no, I hadn't heard. And so she started calling, students out of class and asking them when was the last time they had heard from Kendrick. And they was giving her so many different times. So after a while, she's sitting on the phone. The phone rang in the office, and somebody told her they just had found the body, but the phone was turned up so loud that I can actually hear the other person's voice telling her that they had found the body, but she just kept a straight face like uh-huh, uh-huh, never said one word to me. But all the while I done heard the person say they done found the body.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there like in awe, like, and she's not gonna say anything. Still didn't say nothing. So I'm just sitting there, my heart done already dropped in my lap, and I'm just sitting there. So she gets up and walk out and start talking to her, because a whole bunch of women done came in the office now. So she said, they out there and looking back at me like, so I'm just like, so she comes back in, and then my best friend came to get my grandbaby that was up there. So I started walking, and she asked, "Do you want me to carry him down?" I was like, "No, he don't know you." So I'm aggravated at this time, because
Yeah.
you don't say a body. Somebody done already said a body. They found the body at the school, but you still ain't said not one word. So I go on downstairs and taking my grandbaby down there. And so the sheriff lady is walking up to me like, "Where's Kenyatta? That's my daughter." And I was like, "She's over there. She's coming." And I was like, "Is that my daughter? Was that my son they found in the gym?" And she just nodded her head, yes. And I just lost it. Like, what a way to find out your child is dead.
Yeah. So during this time, we're gonna let's fast forward past that, and let's get to when they decided to, once they cleaned up the area. And there's so many different pictures, there's so many different scene photos that were taken at the scene. We're going to talk about the first, when they did an autopsy. What were the findings of the first autopsy?
The first autopsy said positional asphyxiation.
So in other words, they were saying that what ended up happening was he went into the top of the gym mat, because I was reading that they said he went into the top of the gym mat, and they're saying he got stuck. He was, because his shoes were down at the bottom of the mat.
Yes. They tried to say that he went in the mat head first, in a mat that his shoulders could not even fit in. Said he went in the mat head first and got stuck and just stayed there. Like, okay, you in the gym and it's a gym full of people in there, but nobody seen you go over there, or nobody seen your feet hanging out the mat enough for you to, even for somebody to come help you. Like, but anyway, they were trying to say his shoe was at the bottom of the mat, and that's what he was reaching for. That's why he went over there, and he was upside down, and his heart stopped from being upside down so long as positional asphyxiation.
So let me ask you, in the photo that we see circling the internet, where you see the two pairs of shoes, are those the shoes they're referring to, or those are the shoes that he had on his feet that day when he was in school?
The griffins that were in the mat was rolled up with him. Those are the ones he had on. The other ones was a pair of his shoes that him and his friend would share to go do weight training in, and they would throw them inside the mat.
Oh goodness. So, because unsatisfied, what led you to want to believe? What gave you, along with the other stories? I know as a mom, you know, and you have a feeling in the bottom of your gut that something isn't right. Something that they're saying, what they're saying did not sit well with you. I saw some of the pictures, and they talk about him not having any bruises, him not having any marks, or him not having, nothing was unusual, out of place. And once you got to the point to where, how did you notice that there was a difference? Was this by the time you wanted a second autopsy, or this was maybe at the funeral home once he got to the funeral home?
Okay, so when they never let us identify Kendrick's body. So my husband drove trucks then, and so he wasn't here. And so when he got back home that Saturday, somebody had to go pick him up because I think he was in Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
or stuff. When he got back home, we was just trying to take it in that day that our child
Yeah.
was. So the next morning, we got, we got was it the next morning? No, it was that Sunday morning. We got up because that Saturday we just laid around. We couldn't do nothing. Like we was just in awe. We just couldn't believe Kendrick was gone. So that Sunday we got up and it was fighting time. Like we already knew from day one that Kendrick didn't fall into no mat because we
Mm-hmm.
know our child. Our child would have flipped all those mats on the floor, got his shoes, left the mats down there, and went on the class. Like you can't tell us our child was dumb enough to get up, go up
Yeah.
some bleachers and lay down in some mats and you slide down in the mat and just get stuck and die. That's not even possible.
It don't sound right.
It's not even possible. So we got up and my husband we called the news media to meet us down to the courthouse, and we went on news and said that our son's body was not to be moved out of Valdosta, Georgia, until his body was identified by myself or my husband. And we've been fighting ever since, like nonstop.
So I'm gonna ask you something. Allegedly, you talked about how you realized that once you had gotten your once you saw, you did get to, I guess, maybe the second coroner, the findings. Tell me about the findings of the second autopsy that you had to have for your son.
Yeah, we had a second autopsy done, and the second autopsy came back. It was blunt force trauma, and it added up to the same thing that the EMT said that there was bruising on the right jaw. And when we did the second autopsy, that's when we found out Kendra had no organs. They had took every organ out of my child from his brain, his tongue, his windpipe, his throat, every internal organ, his heart, his lung, down to his pelvic was missing. Then even top that off, they clipped his nails on the scene. They his clothes went missing. If this is just an accident, why in the hell is all these
Is
things going?
all that
Never heard a
necessary?
case that all this go on if it's just such an accident. Freak accident. Ain't nothing freak about no. It's just a murder. Just call it what it is. It's just a murder.
Absolutely. Just call it what it is. Um, what allow, I know you said that there was some recently, video has come out, and this video, it's been a long time, so finally I guess the school decided to release the video to where everybody can see it, because I just viewed it about 2 days ago, where it actually shows your son in the gym for a split second and going towards, but they show different frames, and the only frame that was blurred was the view of the actual gym mats that are way back in the corner. I'm not sure if you were able. Have you seen this video? You know what I'm talking about?
If it's the same one we seen, it's an old video. Like they even had told us that no kids were. Even Stride Jones, I'm gonna call his name, cause he came on news and said there was nobody in the gym. KJ went in the gym by himself, and oh yeah, and then he came back and said a white boy went in the gym behind Kendrick. Kendrick went to the left, and the white boy went to the right. But if Kendrick went to the left, he walked into a brick wall. And if the white boy went to the right, he walked into a brick wall. Like none of it made no sense. And then, like it's a gym that nobody even really used. So I mean, why were all those kids in there anyway?
Well, it looked like they were shooting basketball and playing around and
Right,
going through there to meet.
right.
Absolutely.
It,
So
they had just built $1 million gym. So why was all those kids in the gym?
yeah, yeah.
It was just a distraction because they already knew Kendrick body was rolled up in that gym mat.
Throughout this entire process, how how is it that we've been able to we hear about everybody else when it comes to Black Lives Matter and people getting their lives taken? How did the case, I guess it sounded pretty much like they made it an open and shut type of case to where almost a lot of people had almost forgotten about what happened that day.
I mean, it's got so many layers to it, and it was so much. Then they had people putting out in the news all kind of negative stuff, and on social media you had these trolls that they had like following us and everything. They were turning around, and people in the media, even our own people, they start believing all this crap, and
Yeah.
I got to the point where I didn't even care what they believe. We know what happened to my child. We know my child was murdered, and I'm sticking right to it. I don't care who don't stand up with me. I'm gonna stand if I got to stand by myself. I've been standing 8 years during there by myself. I have all that social media talking about how they love you and how they stand with you. But when it
Yeah.
comes down to the rallies and the protests and fight for Kendrick, I'm standing by myself. Me and my husband and my mama and a few of my family members. So I don't even worry about none of that. I got to do what I got to do for my child. Cause I know if I don't raise some sand and keep on pushing for Kendrick, just ain't nothing gonna be done.
It's gonna go quiet. You're absolutely right. So recently, is this good news that they decided to reopen the case? What made them decide to reopen the case?
I really can't say.
I
All I know,
understand.
the boxes, the Department of Justice sent the Northern District of Ohio sent 17 boxes that the Department of Justice had, and they said it was some stuff in there that should help with Kendrick case,
I
but
understand.
they really ain't done nothing. So
Can I ask you about the recording that someone allegedly was heard in the background or recorded, and it was sent to you guys in regards to them saying that Kendrick didn't deserve this? Can I ask about that?
mhm.
Okay. When did you guys just received that recently?
Yeah, it was like a couple of months ago that we received it.
And I'm sure you turned it into the proper authorities and to the proper people. Is that accepted? If you can answer that, if fine, it's okay. Did they accept
It
that
was
into to be admissible?
it was they took it, but you know what they always do in Lowndes County? They made it like it was nothing. They went and locked the guy up. This is the third person that they have locked up. Anybody that come forward with some evidence or something about Kendrick, they make him out to be a criminal, a liar, and they lock him up and they harass him. They locked this guy up and said that he was a known liar and all this and that. But we know that voice that's on that tape. We know it belongs to the person he said it belongs to.
Yes. I know that for everybody that's waiting on me to discuss the people or the people that were involved, we cannot name them. I don't even want to discuss them. I don't even want to talk about them on the show at all. I don't even want to give them a voice on this platform. We have, by opening up the case, do you think that there's going to be some new evidence and new people are going to come forward by them reopening the case, or do you think that they've got such a hold? Because to me, it seems like it's trying to be kept hush because of who's involved. That's what it seems like to me.
And that's what it is. Like every time somebody come forward, they make them out, they lock them up in Lowndes County Jail, they harass them, and then they make them people go away or they make them recant their story. Everybody's not gonna tell the same lie. You don't do that because a lie you're gonna have to keep lying, to keep lying, to keep lying. Everybody not gonna tell the same lie. It
So
just
each
don't work like that.
So every time, and I'm sure you've had some people come to you or message you or send something to you. Somebody has got to come forward because I know that during this it's been since 2013. It seems like has every one of those turned up to be a dead end, or it's just a case of what you said. Every time somebody comes forward, they shut them down.
They shut them down or they harassing them to death. We even had one of the FBI agent. He was following people to the restaurants and sitting there staring them down and doing all scare tactics. And the Department of Justice lady had told us they were gonna get him for corruption. But all of a sudden, it just went away. This is what she said, and I can say what she said because this came out of her mouth. Myself and my husband was sitting in there. This is what she told us. They were going to get him for corruption. But all of a sudden, it went away. How you make all that go away when you know he was harassing and intimidating people, silencing people, threatening people? Y'all know this for a fact, but still nothing.
Still nothing. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with the story, while I cannot talk about it or name names, if you follow the story, you have to understand why they're doing this on their end. If you know the relationship, if you know the story and the backstory between the folks that are involved, the parents and so forth, then you'll understand why she said this happened with the corruption with the FBI agent and so forth. So we're going to move on from that part. Miss Johnson, what are you hoping will happen? Or are you ignoring the case because you feel like they're not going to get anything? Or are you?
I never for the case. We are gonna like I just said we got a whistleblower and it's coming. It's coming soon.
Oh,
it's coming soon. Like they better wait for it. Like we being quiet now because sometimes it's best to move in silence.
Absolutely,
it's best to move in silence because you can't trust people. They'll send people at you to befriend you just to see what you got going on. But I don't need no friends. See, I stay separated. I stay to myself because I know sometimes your own family talk too much.
I know that's right.
Why you have to tell people. Sometimes you just have to move in silence. But we got a whistleblower. We got a whistleblower
that's right.
To blow the top off it. And it's finna blow the top off it real soon. See what they thought that we was gonna go away and hush.
Yes.
But I tell them all the time they mess around and kill the wrong child because Jacqueline Johnson ain't hushing not nowadays about her.
I know that's right, ma'am. You better come on with it.
Our lives matter. And I'm gonna continue to know my child matter. I don't care who don't think his life matter. And somebody that probably said they say, I just wish them people go away. No, you go away. And when your child get killed, you go away. You go sit down.
That's right.
Me, I'm gonna push hard as I can for mine.
That's right. I've been
doing it for 8 years and I'm gonna keep on doing it. If it be more.
Tell me out there that now know your story and now know the story of your son. Tell everybody what you want them to know about your son, Kendrick Johnson.
I want them to know that my son was a good child. My son just knew that he was going to be a professional football player. My son had his heart on going to FSU. My son was ready, like the stuff that it hurt so bad is when graduation. My child didn't get to go to prom. My child didn't get to do nothing like live none of his young life. He was just 17. He was just finna become a young man. And all the things that he had in store for himself, they killed all that. Kendrick played 3 sports. Kendrick played basketball. He ran track. And he played football. Football was his passion in life. He loved him some football. That baby toted the football from the age of 2 years old up until he was 17 years old. That baby would get out there in that backyard and work out on his little raggedy weight bench. He loved his little weight bench. He'd get back there. He'd be telling his dad, I got 200 and so pounds a day. I got it. He was just on master to get to the 300 and keep mastering until he got the way he wanted to be at. Like, it just seems so unfair to like the children that want to go somewhere. Like the good kids always die first. And I mean, I don't want nobody kids to have to die, but I'm just saying it's just like the ones that got so much potential that you know that's probably finna make it up. You know, he used to say, Mama, y'all ain't gonna never have to worry about that. Well, we gonna always worry about you. We gonna always, and Lord, like before he died, and my husband, and when my husband told me, it just like that broke my heart. He asked my husband, they were laying in the bed. They used to love to lay in the bed and watch football on Sunday. And so they was laying in the bed, and he asked his dad, Daddy. He called him Dad. Dad, if that was me, he was talking about Trayvon Martin. Dad, if that was me, and they killed me, Dad, what would you do? That he looked over at him, and he told his son, I'll fight like hell. And that's just what we've been doing, fighting like hell. Like, somewhere in my heart is like, my son knew his destination was coming to an end.
Sheesh.
Like when my husband told me that, because I kept saying, I just don't understand. And then when he told that story, and he was on the news when he told it, my heart just crumbled. Like, my God.
Can I ask you? I'm wondering, and I'm sure a lot of people out there watching, and a lot of people who know your story is wondering, how has you've got Al Sharpton, you've got all the other Black Lives Matter. Have they been in your corner? Have they reached out? Where's the televised events and rallies and stuff for your son? Where is this?
Say one more time.
Where are the televised events? Like, you have Black Lives Matter, you've got Al Sharpton is always rushing to these type of situations, you've got other people that are always taking advantage and coming to these situations and coming to the aid of the families. Did they do the exact same thing for you? Because I'm trying to figure out, why is this dying down?
At one time, Al Sharpton came to Valdosta one time. We seen him that one time. We was on a couple of his shows, one or two times after that. Nothing. If it ain't hot, people don't want it. Like the real Black Lives Matter, it was a couple of them came down from Atlanta. But other than that, we ain't really had nobody. But we had this team, this group that was called the Community before they broke up. And I mean, they marched 17 miles a day for Kendrick, 17 years of life, all the way from Atlanta to Valdosta. But far as the big Black Lives Matter and the rallies and stuff, we ain't never had it. But you know what? I don't even worry about that, because a lot of people that have had it, they still ain't got justice.
Facts.
So I mean,
Facts.
none of that don't move me. I want to go in the direction where kids are gonna get justice at. All this,
Absolutely.
I mean, the rallies and stuff are necessary to keep the child name alive, but it don't. That's not something that moved me. What moved
Yeah.
me? Help me get in the direction where we finna make some noise, that we're gonna call the sheriff department out, or we're gonna call them people that killed Kendrick out. The rest of that stuff I don't care about. My mind is focused on getting justice for Kendrick Johnson.
Miss Johnson, what do you believe in the bottom of your heart, from the bottom of your heart, what do you believe happened to your son?
I believe that little young lady lowered
Mhm.
my son in the gym. They attacked my son when he first went in, and that's how they really got him down to where they can beat. But my son fought them to the death of him, and I believe they beat him to death after they hit him with the weight, and he was kind of semi-dazed. That's when
Mhm.
they attacked him, and it was more than two or three people that attacked my son.
Miss Johnson, um, I from the time I realized when I reached out to you, I thought it was going to be near impossible to get to you. But I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, and I know everything happens for a reason. And from the time I reached out to you, I've always paid attention to the story, but I've never paid attention so close to it as much as I have been in the past couple weeks since the first time I messaged you and you agreed to interview with me. And it's heartbreaking, and I can't imagine. I'm sure you're tired, and your drive and your strength and everything that embodies being a mother and wanting justice for her son. I see that every single day. I see it in the posts that you post. I watch you. I follow you on TikTok. I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on Facebook. I see you. I see you. I see you in every chance I get, all the way up until today, and it's not going to stop after today. I know a lot of people have their own opinions, and that's fine. Like you said, that's fine, but you can't negate the facts. You can't not pay attention to what's happening and what's out there, the information that's out there. And most of all, a mother's intuition, that is the strongest thing, and it's your gut feeling, and that's very specific. When I asked you what you thought happened to your son, it's very specific, very much specific. I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I see you outside and I know it's probably hot outside. Listen, if you could look your younger self in the mirror right now today, what would you say to yourself?
If I could look my younger self,
In the mirror right now today.
that I am heartbroken. I never would have believed that my child would be murdered. I feel as this is something from a TV show that I'm just living. I'm in a dream that I just can't wake up from. I just feel my life should have been in a different direction than where I am now.
With everything that is going on, I'm hoping that you find, I know you're not going to find peace until your son and his killers are brought, and I'm going to say it, your son and his killers are brought to justice. Yep, I said it just like that because it is what it is. Ms. Johnson, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Also, I know you have a foundation, a Kendrick Johnson Foundation, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Can you please tell everybody what they can do to either donate or help out or, come together and help get justice for Kendrick, if you please?
Yes, I have a GoFundMe set up, and it's Justice for Kendrick Johnson. And I mean, I tell people just, continue to pray for us, continue to tell people Kendrick's story, continue to call and ask the sheriff and Valdosta what's going on with the Kendrick Johnson case. Continue to help call the people that's over the sheriff department. Let's get something done about Kendrick. Let's not just talk about it. Everybody be about it. Something has to get done.
Yeah.
I can't do it all, but I'm gonna do much as I can.
Yeah. So we need to make enough noise. Y'all hear that out there? Everybody that's in the world, we need, just like we say George Floyd's name, Breonna's name, and so many others' name, we need to add Mr. Kendrick Johnson's name to the list. We need to continue the fight for justice and to bring his killers to justice so that his mom can be at peace. We're going to continue to say his name out there. I'm going to continue to push the information and to push the agenda for Kendrick Johnson and the foundation and what you have going on. I'm going to continue to follow you. I'm going to continue to bother you on social media and tell you, hey, what's happening? How you doing, beautiful? And all that good stuff, ma'am. I pray that everything goes your way, and I'll definitely be in touch with you again. Thank you so much, Ms. Johnson, for sharing your story with us. And we're out here praying for you. Hold on a moment. I think we lost her for a second. Hold on. She may have lost signal, you guys. But listen, you guys, this was was one of those interviews. I put up the discretion advised because she shared some things. You guys have to keep rallying for this mother. She has been fighting still tirelessly and effortlessly for her son, as any mother, I imagine, would continue to fight until, like she said, the last breath in her is gone. She's going to continue to fight for her son. The facts are there. Y'all are not making enough noise. It is exactly what she said. We're not making enough noise to bring enough attention. What they want is for it to die down, and we can't let that happen. We rally behind everything else. We rally behind things that we find funny on social media. We rally behind foolishness. We rally behind half-naked people. Is this not something that we can get together and rally behind, everybody? Don't sit up here and tell me this lady's story did not touch your heart. His story is everywhere. All you got to do is Google his name and the story will come up. I can't mention certain things. The interview was kind of stagnant because there were so many things that I wanted to talk about. But because this has now become an open case, like she said, we can't talk about a lot. We can't mention certain names. We can't talk about certain events. But the fact is she needs for everybody to rally behind her, just as we did with the George Floyd situation and just as we did with all other situations. Say his name. I don't care if you got to get a T-shirt made for Mr. Kendrick Johnson and his mother. We got to continue to do something. We got to continue to help and bring this mother some peace by finding her son's killers and bringing them to justice. Listen, you guys, that is going to do it for In My City. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there. And sorry we got a little late. She was actually in the car driving, trying to get to a point. And because I'm on her time, I allowed her to do her thing. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on today's show. This meant a lot to me, and I know it meant a lot to her. So follow her. The information is at the bottom of the screen down there. It is Justice, the JK Foundation at gmail.com. She's also got some information on her page, her Instagram page. If you look up KJ Johnson, Kendrick KJ Johnson on Facebook, Jackie Johnson, Instagram, and all of those good. She's got so much information. Check it out. Say hello. Put up a Justice for Kendrick Johnson to let her know you're out here rallying for her and you're thinking about her and her son. Let's make it happen. I know we can do this, you guys. Have an amazing Friday and be safe out there. See ya.